Yeah, hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we will be discussing about the transaction control and the joining. In the previous session we have already discussed about your select statement, insert statement, update statement and merge statement. All the videos and everything I have already uploaded in the Deeksha YouTube channel, so you can visit there and subscribe. And today we will be discussing about your transactional control language, and transactional control language will consist of your commit, rollback and save points. Okay, so before going into commit, rollback and save points, let's discuss about what is transaction and how you will perform any transaction. In the previous session you have seen about few insert, few delete, few update statements, right? So all those statements are part of your transaction, right? So basically what is transaction? If you going to perform any DML operation, it starts a DML transaction, right? So DML transaction is nothing but a bunch of DML statements, right? It could be your insert, it could be your delete, it could be your update, or it could be your any DDL operation, right? So a DML transaction that consists of one of the following is known as your transaction, like a DML statement that constitute one or consistent change to the data, right? And the second one is one DDL statement, or one data control language. Data control language basically your grant and revoke, how you are controlling your data, right? So that is your data control language. We'll learn all those data control language when we will be discussing about the user management in upcoming session, right? So and your database transaction starts with any of the DML statement executed, and it ends with any of these statement, right? Like a commit or a rollback statement is issued, a DDL or a DCL statements execute automatically, or a user exit from the SQL developer, or the system crashes, right? And another concept is save point. Save point is basically used to roll back to the save point marker. If you wanted to split your transaction into a chunk, right, you can create a save point, and you can roll back to that point using your save point marker, right? So here is an example of a transaction, like let's say in the previous session we have learned how to create student details table, and how you can insert the data into the student details table, right? And so in the student table, let's suppose we are going to delete the all the data from the student table, right? Then we perform the rollback, so whole the transaction will be rolled back. That is, let's say for example 25,000 rows got deleted. So if you execute the rollback, so it will roll back all the transaction, right? And commit, if you want to make the changes permanently into your database, you can execute commit, right? So it will make the changes permanent into the, we'll see all those technical terms, we'll execute all those query in the upcoming session. So let's understand first, after that we'll get into that. So another statement could be your delete from student details, where email equals to kuntalmitra305@gmail.com. so a specific record you are deleting, so only one record will be there, so one record will be deleted. Okay, in the same way, if you want to fetch the same record. So after deleting, there won't be any record, so it is not returning any record. Okay, so let's go to the another section. Transaction are basically of two types, right? One is implicit transaction and another one is explicit transaction. The way we have learned in the previous, what are the different types of insert statement, what are the different types of your update statement. So there also we have seen some implicit method and explicit method. So in the same way, in your transaction also there are two methods, right? One is your wait a second. So one is your implicit method and another one is your explicit method, right? So implicit method occurs when you are performing any Ddl statement or any DCL statement specifically, okay? And a normal exit from the SQL developer or SQL plus without explicitly mentioning commit or rollback, right? And automatic rollback occur when there is an abnormal termination of SQL developer. Let's say for example, you are working on your system and suddenly power cut or your laptop turned off automatically due to some reason. So it will automatically come out, or your software crashes or something like that. So it will automatically terminate your SQL developer. In that case, it will roll back, okay? And explicit method is basically explicitly you are mentioning when you want to commit or when you wanted to roll back, or when you wanted to roll back to a certain point. Let's say for example, here three statements are there. Like first one is let's say for example any Ddl statement where automatically commit happen, basically the implicit commit. And the second one is you performed some DML operation to delete some record and you created a save point up to this point, right? And then again you performed some insert operation and then again you did some update and then again you created another save point which is save point B, right? So there after that you perform again some insert, right? So let's say for example, if you wanted to if you think like no, I should not commit this record, like the last insert which you have performed, you don't wanted to commit it, right? So what you can do, you can simply roll back to say point B by executing a rollback to say point B, and this transaction will be rolled back, right? And the option will be to commit the transaction for delete, insert and update. Now let's say for example again after checking you found that no, this and this statement, this insert and this update are not valid. So you executed a rollback statement up to a point A, right? So these two also discarded when you will execute any commit. So if you simply execute a rollback, so it will roll back all the without checking the save point, it will goes to the last commit point and it will roll back all the transaction which you have performed. So always remember, whenever you are executing any rollback or commit, irrespective of creation of save point, it will commit or roll back all the transaction, right? So let's see how we can perform all these operations. So let me start my VM. Yeah, VM is started. So let's do some hands-on in the VM so that these things will be much clear to you all, right? So just a second, let me start. Okay, just a second. So for any doubt or any confusion if you have, you can post it in the chat section so that I can go with the chats, or if you are connected in this call using your Skype, you can ask in the Skype as well. that I can understand. Okay. Okay, so let me log into the HR schema using SQL plus. So there is some audio problem. Okay. So audio is not that much clear, or some other issue. Now it's clear. Okay. Thank you, Nayan. Thanks for confirming. Yeah. So to demonstrate the transaction, I opened two terminal. Using that, I can show you when we will perform any operation, whether we will be able to do the rollback and commit, and you're creating say point impact, right? So let's give some time. Let me log in. Okay. So let me create this table first. So what I am doing first, I'm just creating two tables. First, I am dropping all the records and all, because in the previous session we have already inserted so many records for these two tables, and today for the demonstration I have some another set of SQL statements. So let's see, we performed one your DDL operation. Basically, create comes under your DDL operation. Now let's see whether we are able to fetch any data in this table or not, right? So select count star count one. Sorry, count one from your student table, right? Sorry. Sorry, I wrongly copied the entire statement, right? So no issue. DDL auto commits the transaction, so we can see the table, right? Students underscore table. Sorry. Select count one from just a second, guys. Some mouse problem is there. Student details. So you can see in the first session I created one table, and I haven't execute any commit or rollback or anything like that, but the the statement gets executed and it's auto committed the transaction, right? So you can see the tables, right? We'll see after executing one DML statement. After that, we'll execute one Ddl statement, and after that, we'll check whether the last DML gets committed or not. So we'll see. Just wait and watch how we can perform all those things. So first, let me clear this. Right. So let's say execute some of the DML statement, right? So in the previous session we have already created one bunch of insert script, right? So let's see where are those insert script. So that insert script is insert.sql, right? So at the rate insert.sql, if I execute it, we can see 37 records created, right? If we execute in this session, select count 1 from student details, right? We can see 37 records are there, right? But if I execute the same query here in this window, that select count 1 from students details, right? We'll see only one record. We are executing the same statement but in different session, right? So we see that yes, there is no record in the student table, right? So now execute another statement, right? So let's say execute this statement to delete the record of Kuntal Mitra, right? As we have seen in this slide, right? So we have executed one transaction, and let's say for example I am executing a commit statement here, right? So let me put a commit. After that we'll start the DML operation so that we will be in sync with the PPT. Okay. So let me commit, and commit happened, right? And now if we execute in this session, right, the same statement from student details, right, and we can see 37 records are there. So you have seen how commit is impacting, right? Whenever you are sure to make the permanent changes, whatever transaction you did, you wanted to save it in your database, you can execute your commit statement to save all the data, and so that the same user can access that data, right? Or different users can access the data from the different session, right? So let's execute the statement one by one. So let's execute this statement and create a save point A. So let me go here and execute a delete statement to delete the record of Kuntal Mitra. So one record is there for Kuntal Mitra, so I am deleting the record for the Kuntal Mitra and executing one statement, creating one save point after executing one delete statement, right? So let see. So you have seen a save point created, right? So if I execute a rollback, right? Rollback to save point. So whatever be the transaction I will do after this statement, it will roll back. So let me execute some of the transaction. Let me again insert the record of Kuntal Mitra. Let's say for example, okay. So let me insert, right. So one record got created, right. Now if let's suppose I am updating the record of Kuntal Mitra. Here you have seen college name is not there, right? So by update statement I am updating the record of Kuntal Mitra. So let me execute the update statement. So one record got updated, right? So after that again I will create one save point. Okay. So let me create another save point B. So in this transaction, in this entire transaction, you have seen I have created one save point, because here I have deleted, and after that I performed some another set of DML statement, that is to insert the record for Kuntal Mitra, and to create the record of to update the record of Kuntal Mitra, right? Now let's perform another insert. Let's say for example let me insert the record for Nayan H, right? So if I execute this insert statement after this, right? So one record got created. Now the entire transaction, whatever I have discussed in the slide, right? That first transaction, first we are committing, then we are performing the delete, then creating a save point A, then we performed some insert and some update and all. After that we created again a save point, and after that we performed some insert operation, right? So to understand it, right, let me execute this rollback to save point A, right? Before that, if I go to this window and if I execute this query, so let's execute this query, and after that student details, right? So if I execute this query, still you have seen only 37 records are there, and the reason is, after doing the last commit here, right, I haven't executed any commit or rollback. So whatever be the transaction I did, it remains in a, what to say, inactive state, or the data not get permanently saved or rolled back from the database or in the database, right? So if I execute here, you have seen 37 record, right? After that I deleted one record, so 36 record, right? After that again I inserted one record, so 36 plus 1, 37, right? And again I did one update, so update based on that, so again the number of record will be 37. After that I again created a save point B, and after that again I inserted one record, so total number of record in this session will be 38, right? So let me execute this query. Select star from one, students detail, right? So you can see 38 records are there, right? So if I execute the statement which I said it here, right, roll back to save point B. So if I execute this statement, roll back to save point B, right? So you have seen rollback executed. So which statement will be rolled back? I created a save point here. So after that I executed this statement. So this statement will be rolled back, right? So number of record, if you going to check in this table, it will be 37, right? So to understand it, let me execute one more time. Select count one from students details, right? So see, only 37 records are there, right? So if I commit at this point, you will see 37 records in this session, right? But for better understanding of the another save point, right, that how it will impact. So if I go to the save point, roll back save point B, right, roll back to save point A, right, which I have created. So if I execute it, so it will roll back the last two, that is insert and update. So these two statements will be rolled back, and if I execute the commit at this point, then the total number of record will be 36, because I have executed one insert, one delete statement, right, after the last commit, right. So let me commit here, and if I execute the select count 1 from students details, right. So you will see 36 records are there, right. So always remember this concept, like commit and rollback, and whenever you are performing any important or any transactional data, right. Whenever you are executing any important transaction, you just create a save point, so that during the transaction, if you wanted to roll back or if you wanted to commit the data, you can commit or roll back up to that point. So far, any confusion or any doubt? Any confusion or any doubt in this slide to understand it? Yes, no? Okay. So here is another question. During the interview, they can ask, like, let's say for example, I created a two save point, right. One save point is save point A, another one is save point B, right. So these two are different save points. So but if the interviewer asks, like, I have created one save point A, and after that again I created a save point A here only, right. So if I execute roll back to save point A, right, then what will happen? Which statement will be getting rolled back? This insert statement or the entire three statement, insert, update or delete? So remember always, whenever you are creating a save point with the same name, it will override the last one, right. So let's say for example, here you have created one save point and here also you have created. So this will be override by this one. So if you execute rollback to save point A, it will only execute this statement, right. So always remember these concept. And I said that the impact of Ddl statement, right. So let's say for example, if I execute any Ddl statement, and after that if I execute if I execute any DML operation, and after that if I execute any Ddl statement, the DML operation gets automatically committed, right. So if I execute this statement, like last one which I have rolled back. So let's say for example, in this session, if I execute DML operation to insert the data of Nayan age, and after that if I create a table to create the data of student marks, right. Oh sorry, one syntax error is there. So if I execute this statement, right, so table gets created, and let's see whether we are able to get this data, right, in that insert statement. So let's see how many number of records will be there in this particular table, right? Let's execute this statement. So see, one records gets automatically committed after executing this statement. So what happened basically, here commit automatically occurs, right? So it will commit all the transaction which happens before this Ddl creation, right? So it will so before that we executed this statement, so this statement gets automatically committed. So before going to the next session, based on the previous session, I have given a set of SQL statement and quizzes. I would request you all to go to that quiz and give the quiz, so that whatever we have discussed in the previous session, we can understand whether I am able to make you understand or not. So I am sharing the link, and it won't take that much time, only 10 questions are there, so you can go with those questions and answer. So it won't take that much time, okay? And please give the test, so that based on the test data in the next session we'll have some real time sample problem statement, right? So if you give the test, we'll discuss the real problem statement. And to do more hands-on, you can refer this SQL hands-on book which is written by me. So if you are looking for some more problem statements and all, you can refer this book. Here a bunch of real life problem statements are there, you can practice a lot, right? So with this we have covered I think all the topics of DML and your DML operation. Basically we have covered your DML and your what next, a transaction control language, right? Next comes your DCL and DDL. We'll learn about this in the upcoming session, but before getting into that, we have another module which is your second module, right? So in the second module we are going to discuss about the data extraction from multiple tables, the types of join, subqueries, and the set operators. Types of join, because we are not getting entire information in the single table, right? So that's why we need, sometimes we are not getting the information in a one table, or we need to have some condition in real time. For that we need to fetch the data from one table and to put that data into the second query condition or something like that. So for that we will need different types of join, your subqueries, and set operators. So basically this module will cover how to select, how to fetch the data from different tables and show your data, right? So we'll learn about that. So the first thing which we will be discussing in this module, which is your join, right? So what is join? As I said, in real time problem, we are not getting the entire information in a single table, right? Let's say for example, we have already discussed in the early stage that will create two different separate tables, right? One table will be having a student details, and another table will be having a student marks, right? So we cannot store all those information. So let's say for example, as I shared one problem aptitude question with you all on SQL, if you put all those data, we can easily figure it out that how many students has given the test and how they have performed and all, right. So in the beginning, I think, yeah, in this table, right. So in the first session, when we have discussed about data, transaction, information, database and all, there we have discussed about the student tables, where we will store all the basic information of the store, and we have already discussed during your DML operation how to delete, insert, update in this table, right. And now basically we will create one table which is your student mark, right, like this, where we will only store these information. Let's say for example student details marks, like this table. Here what are the things we will be storing? Email, marks and test, right. So the email, marks and test, right. So in this table basically we'll store all the data. So let's say for example you wanted to see which student has scored how many numbers, right. So using by joining these two table, you can, here also one column is missing. So I have added that column in the problem statement, right. Here you can see email and name and college name, stream, YUIP. So I created this table. So but the real definition is not there, right. So these two tables are there, right. So by joining these two table, by based on the condition of email ID, because this one is the common ID column. So by common ID column will join, and we can fetch the data from these tables, right. So you see here also one table is there, table A and table B, right. So by joining these two tables, we are creating another set of records, that is the output of the join table, and we can fetch all the information, right. So join is used to view the information from multiple tables. Therefore you can join the table together to view the information from more than one table, right. So in the we have seen the example based on the two tables, but in real life you can join n numbers of table, right. So we'll learn more about joining and condition and all. So this is just the basic concept of joining, right. Next is different types of joining, right. So different based on the different scenario, we are performing different types of join, right. And that types are your natural join, self join, equi join, non-equi join, outer join. Outer join basically are of three types: so your left outer join, right outer join, full outer join and a cross join, right. So these are the types of your join, right. So now moving to the next part, right, which is your natural join. So in natural join, which is your first type of join, here we need not to specify any joining condition, right. It will automatically join the two table. And how it will join? Here we have to specify the keyword which is natural join in the join statement, right. So and the natural join automatically joined the two table based on the column in the two table which have the same data type and the names, right. And that names, let's say for example we are having one employee table and a department table, right. One employee table and another department table, right. So in the department table we are having department ID, and in the department table also we are having a department ID column, right. So department ID column is unique in these two tables. So whenever we execute the statement like select star from employees natural join, with departments, right? And in place of star, if we mention like department ID, last name, and your department name, right? So that time we get the output like this. So always remember, if you are performing any, so before going to discuss more, let's do some hands on related to join, right? So that it will be much more clear to you all. So for demonstrating join, let me execute, let me log into this session. Just a second, guys. I think some problem is there. SQL Live. So throughout the session, we have done problem statements and all in your SQL Live. So to demonstrate join, we'll use the HR schema, and we will perform all the queries in SQL Live, right? So actually here auto commit internally happens, right? So I'm not able to demonstrate the transaction and other stuff. That's why I demonstrated here, so that the transaction control and other stuff will be clear to you all, right? So moving to the next, right, that is example of join. So let me execute the statement, right? For join, we have successfully logged in. Guys, if you have any query or any doubt, please try to post in the chat section. Time to time we'll see the chats, because to refresh the chat it is taking some time. So if you are not able to understand any particular topic or anything, you can post in the chat, right? So here if you see, one table is there, employee, and another table is department. If I execute this statement, I am not mentioning any joining condition, but it will automatically join these two tables, and it will show the department ID, last name, and department name, right? So it is doing internally, it is matching the common column which is having a similar name in both the table along with the same data type, right? So it will display after that by matching. So to remember one thing, if the column has the same name, right, but different data type, then the natural join will give a cause a syntactical error, right? The natural join happens when you have a same name and same data type, right? So in natural join we have another thing, like let's say for example here you didn't mention which department or any specific condition on your return data. So if you wanted to execute any condition, then by mentioning a where condition and whatever be the where condition criteria we have discussed in the previous session, in the same fashion, if you write your where condition, you can fetch the desired data, right? So in this query we are executing the specific data for department ID 90 and department ID 60, right? So you will only get the data for those two departments, right? So another thing is in join we have seen only one common column is there, which is your department ID, right? But what if the two tables are having multiple common column? In that case, what you will do? That time it will cause an error if you don't mention the joining column in the condition, right? So how you will perform that condition? So using clause in the natural join when more than one common column matches, right? So that time we are using clause, right? So let's say for example department and employees table having a multiple common column, but we only want the joining column condition should be based on your department ID, right? So that time we will execute this statement, right? So in join your HR department table and employees table using the department ID column, right? So let's execute. Let me close this window because it is creating some confusion. So if I execute this condition, if I execute this statement, you will see we are getting the same output based on the department ID. So using clause also you can use it when you are going to join two tables, right? If you are having more than two tables, in the same way you can execute more than two tables. So we'll learn how you can join more than two tables, right? So here we have seen more than two columns, right? What if we do not have the before, and one more thing before going to the next topic, whenever you are performing natural join or join using clause, by using clause, do not put any alias name. What I mean by that, let's say for example here I have put S and here I have put E, right? So in this using clause, do not put any alias name like S dot department ID or something like that, right? So it will cause an error if you execute some such statement, right? And if you have sorry, so if you have what if you don't have the common column name, right? The column name could be different, but the data types are remain same, right? So you want the let's say for example this table is having a department ID and another table is having a DEPT ID. In that case, if you execute this statement you won't be able to execute because the column names are different. So in the scenario where column name is different but the data type is same and you wanted to and the data is same also, so in that case you can perform a join using on clause. On clause is giving a specific, allows us to specify the specific condition, right? It basically specify arbitrary condition or a specific column to join. So here generally two columns names are same, so that's why I put it like that, but in real time if the name is different you can put the different name of that column, right? But always remember the data type needs to be same, right? So let's execute this statement. Let me execute this statement. Let's see whether we are getting any output or not, right? So see, we are getting the same output, right? So far any doubt or any confusion in your natural join you can ask. Nayan, Kuntal, any doubt, any confusion? Okay, so the next type of join is your self join, right? So self join is basically in order to join a table to itself we use self join, right? And this type of join is used to compare the two column in the same table, right? So let's say for example we are having one employees table and with different columns like employee ID, employee name and manager ID, right? So column 1 employee ID 1, employee name is Deeptavo and the manager ID is 5, and the second one is employee ID 2, employee name Aditro and manager ID is 1, and the third one is Abhishek and the manager ID is 2. So you can see in the employee table employee ID is also there and manager ID is also there. So basically the manager ID is also the employee ID, right? Because that manager is also the employee of that particular organization, so he is also having the employee ID, and that person could be the manager of some XYZ. So let's say for example the third one, right? Employee ID is 3, name is Abhishek and the manager ID is 2, right? So manager ID is 2 means employee ID 2. So let's find the employee ID 2, name is Aritro, right? And the manager ID is 1. So employee ID 1 is Deeptavo. So if you here is a problem statement, find in the employee table by looking the employee name column, right? Or find the manager number from the manager ID, or find the name of manager with the manager ID, or if you have a specific query like who is the manager of Abhishek, or who is the manager of Aritro, or who is the manager of Deeptavo. So if you have some kind of such kind of query, for that purpose you need to execute the self statement. And how you will perform the self statement? Basically by specifying the alias name, by creating by using the alias name will create the two separate tables, right? Here you can see employee table as a employee and employees table as a manager, right? And after that we are joining these two tables, right? Employee dot manager ID equals to manager dot employee ID, and we are fetching the information, and we are getting like a employee name Aritro whose manager is Deeptavo, and employee name is Abhishek whose manager is Aritro. Sorry for the typo error, here A will be in caps. So from this table you can see, right? To understand it more clear, let me write a query so that it will be more clear to you, right? So let's execute this query so that it will be much more clear to you all, right? So let's see this and this. So just a second guys. So first I am just fetching the records, first 5 record, right? So here you can see the employee ID 100 is not having any manager ID, right? But 101 is having the manager ID of 100. So employee ID 100 having the manager sorry 101 which is Nina Kocher having the manager 100 which is your Stephen King. So in this query you can see 101 is the employee ID, manager ID is 100, employee name is Nina Kocher and the manager ID is Stephen King. In the same way, if you go to the second record 102, the employee name is Lex, right? And your manager ID is again 100. So for Lex also the manager name is Stephen King, right? So for such scenario, for finding the manager ID or something like that, you can create these kind of statement. So who is the manager, or who is performing under so and so manager. So using self join you can find the output, right? And the next join is your Equi Join. So an equi join is a type of join, the table based on the column in the two tables of the same values, right? And in equi join, the join condition must have a equality operator. So let's say, for example, you are having a table column A and table B, right? So table A is having a record 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and table B is also having a record 1, 3, 2, 5, right? And if you join based on these column, right, so that time it will basically matches the record with the another table. So 1 matches with 1, so it will give output 1 1, right? 2 and 2, so it will give 2. 3 and 3, right? So it will give 3, and 5 and 5, so it will give 5. So in the previous the way we have discussed about implicit and explicit, in the join also there are two method. One is explicit join and another one is your implicit join, right? So implicit join, if you mention join and then using on condition you are joining these two table, that is your explicit join. And in implicit join, basically we are simply putting the where condition to join these two tables. So that is your implicit join. So let's say execute the query, right? First one with be your explicit and second one will be your implicit method, right? So if I execute this statement, right, which we have already discussed in the natural join using your on condition. So natural join using your on condition is basically your equi join, and the another one here you see employee as a E and department as a D, and in where condition simply we are specifying the joining condition. So this one also, this query will also return the same output, right? And if you want the specific department ID, you can simply write in the where condition like and your department equals to this. We have already discussed about the filtration and all, but how you can use that where condition we'll see. So the error is because from which table it will fetch. So always put the alias name whenever you are doing some common column, whenever you are using any common column in your where condition, right? So see, only we are getting the data from department ID 20 as we have specified in the query, right? So and one more thing I just wanted to share it here, which is the impact of duplicate record in your equi join. Let's say, for example, table A is having 5 record with 1 and the table B is having only 1 record with 1. So whenever you will perform a equi join, so it will matches with the 5 records of this table with 1 record of this table. So the result will be your 5 record with 1 1 1 1 1. So always remember, whenever you perform any equi join and you have a duplicate data in your table, it will produce a duplicate rows, right, based on your joining condition, right? And the next one is your non-equi join, right? So in non-equi join, basically we are performing the join condition without using the equality operation, right? So the definition is non-equi join is a type of join in which we cannot join two table with the join condition where the join condition uses other than equality operator, right? So let's say, for example, we are having one employee table and a job grade table, right? So here employee name is Das Singh Sharma Misra and the salary could be 20,000, 25,000, 10,000, 12,000, right? and in the job grade table we created a grade like A, B, C, D, E, and the lowest salary and the highest salary, right? And we want that das belongs to which category. So to perform that, we will put a condition like salary between lowest salary and the highest salary. So what will happen, basically it will join these two tables based on this condition, and it will put another column like here last name, salary and grade. So it will place another column which is grade in the output, like so let's say 20,000, right? So 20,000 belongs to your E grade, right? So it will take the value, it will check and it will plot E, right? In the same way 25,000, so 25,000 again belongs to E, so it will be E. And the Sarma is 10,000, so 10,000 belongs to D, right? So it will put a grade D. And Misra is basically 12,000, so again it will be a D, right? So in this way you can perform a join, right? So if you have any doubt or any confusion, you can ask so far if you have any doubt or confusion. Okay. So guys, in the next session we'll discuss about outer join and how we can perform outer join and all, and your right outer join, full outer join. We'll learn the subquery, and then we will discuss about the set operator. So with this we are ending this session here only. If you have any doubt or any confusion, feel free to post in the comment section. We'll address in the next session. Thank you guys, and in the next week also we will be available in the same timing. So you can subscribe so that you will get the notification whenever we'll go live. Thank you guys. Thanks for attending the session. Hope to see you in the next session. Thank you.